Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days as we do head out of November and into the start of December. And it does look like we are going to see a little bit of a wintry feel as we do start December. Now, as I said, over the past few days it's going to be a very changeable pattern, and it looks through Monday and Tuesday as we do head into early December we are going to see a very brief but potent northerly wind on the backside of one of the low pressure systems that's going to clear through the weekend. It isn't expected to bring anything too major, nothing too disruptive, but temperatures could make a real quick tumble through Monday and Tuesday. We could see pretty widespread harsh overnight frosts and even some wintry showers in the north. Now, as we head into the longer range, we are expecting to see changeable conditions continuing, and as we have alluded to over the past few videos, blocking could return as we head into the middle of the month, and that is still looking like a real possibility. Haven't seen too many changes today. It is still looking like the ensembles are showing average to below average temperatures as we progress into December, and more of those operational runs are showing that distortion across the northern hemisphere. But really, it is still hints. We haven't got any concrete sort of backing of this idea yet, and that is something we'll have to keep a close eye on. But of course, we'll continue to explore that in the second half of the video. So do remember, if you enjoy the videos, which you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. And if you start on the live radar, we can see there is a weather front moving in off the Atlantic at the moment. Of course, it has been pretty chilly the last sort of 24 to 48 hours, especially further northwards, but more widespread through today. And that's because, again, we've seen this brief northerly wind under this higher pressure system that's moved in, and it has given, as I said, pretty cold conditions with pretty harsh overnight frost, especially last night, but even areas further southwards saw some sort of widespread frost and temperatures well below freezing overnight. So this weather front is moving in now, and it is going to shove all of that cold air out of the way, and we can see there's a bit of snow over the Highlands of Scotland at the moment, but for most it is rain, as this transition does happen pretty quickly. So we are expecting a bit of rain quite widely over the next sort of 24 hours, but again, we're not expecting anything too major. These low pressure systems aren't particularly intense. They're just going to give us some transitions between these different air masses. Now, do put on the temperatures. As I record this around 6 p.m, you can see further eastwards you go, under the higher pressure and the cold air, temperatures are falling away very quickly once again, and I wouldn't be surprised to see another pretty harsh frost in some of these areas. But again, it's all dependent on how quickly the cloud and bits and bobs of rain do move in as it slowly transitions eastwards over the coming hours. Tomorrow is still likely to be a chilly day, but hopefully into the weekend it will turn a little bit milder. So you can see the power of higher pressure this time of year. The air mass is chilly, but it's nothing remarkable. It's the power of higher pressure allowing those temperatures to really fall away when we have those clearer skies. Now, as we go over to the latest UKV, you can see that precipitation moving in at the moment, and as we transition into Friday, it will slowly push all of that colder air away, fully transitioning to something milder as we head into the late hours of Friday. Now, into the weekend, we are in a westerly flow. There's a few showers pushing in, but we're not expecting anything too major. And then another low moves through on Sunday, and it's on the back edge of this low where it could get very cold. Now, for the first day of December, Sunday, it's looking fairly mild, at least initially. But once this low does clear, look at this, we start to see some snow showers pushing in, and they turn all to snow through much of Monday, and Monday looks like to be a really quite chilly day. Again, we're not expecting temperatures, to be around freezing, no ice days, nothing like that, but mid-single digits at best. Again, it would be cold if we saw sort of recurring days like this, but it is really a northerly blast lasting around 36 hours, and then you can see as we head into Tuesday, those snow showers starting to get cut off, and we start to see a westerly flow pushing back in. But as I said, looking real cold for a couple of days there. And the reason for that is these cold upper air temperatures that are just to our north that are getting pushed in for a brief period of time. So you can see the cold air in place at the moment, slowly getting pushed away over the coming hours, replacing by mild air as we head through Friday. And then you can see as we head into the weekend, it's going to be pretty mild at the upper air level, but nothing, too remarkable. As we head into Sunday, though, look at this very cold air pushing in for a time through Monday, even down to the -10 isotherm. As I said, would produce ice days if we saw this, on consecutive days, even -12 getting pushed in there to Scotland. So remarkably cold in places, but it doesn't last too long, gets pushed away pretty quickly. As you can see, much milder Atlantic air is starting to push back in. Very much a brief but very cold northerly flow there for a 36-hour period. Now, if you look at the max temperatures, you can see early this morning, widespread frost, and through today, it's been pretty chilly temperatures, hardly getting above the mid-single digits. Overnight tonight, frost in the east, but for most, as we wake up in the morning, the temperatures will rise pretty quickly, and by tomorrow afternoon, it will still be chilly, but more likely high single digits, maybe low double digits in the west. As we head into Saturday, it's again a little bit milder overnight, but still chilly if you're out in the east. And then through Saturday, it's a pretty mild day. Low teens for most, more of a typical autumnal day. As we start December, it's still a bit of an autumnal feel there, 12 degrees as the top temperature, but into Monday, look at that, rapidly those temperatures fall away, especially in the north, and by Monday afternoon, hardly getting above 6 or 7 degrees in the south, and sort of low single digits further northwards, and freezing potentially even over higher ground. And then as we head into Tuesday, temperatures rapidly falling away down the spine of the British Isles, maybe -5 to -10 degrees looks really quite possible. Even towards southern England, look at that, -2, -3, and locally it'll be even colder than that. So a really harsh northerly flow coming in. Probably the coldest air mass we've seen all autumn. But of course, it's only very brief. The air mass we saw, a week or two ago now, where it was very cold. That was, last week, but by this point, it'll be almost 2 weeks. That was a cold air mass, but didn't get much below sort of -7, -8. This is getting down to -12 across Scotland. So although it is very potent, it's not lasting. If it did last, then we would be really in the freezer for early December. Now, if you look at the latest GFS, you can see the sort of evolution over the next couple of weeks. You can see, again, westerly flow pushing in over the next couple of days. It's on the back edge of this low here through Monday, which is where we see this really potent northerly wind for a time. It moves through very quickly, but as I said, very potent. The Northern Isles of Scotland down towards -10, -15's not too far away, but all that very cold air actually pushes into Scandinavia instead, and we do go into more of a westerly flow. Now, as we transition into the middle part of December, this is where we start to see ridging further northwards, and you can already see here northerly winds trying to push in. It doesn't have too much success initially, gets toppled, but then another go at northerly flow there towards sort of the 10th to 12th. But interestingly, those heights rise towards Greenland, but then very quickly fall again as we head towards sort of the 13th, 14th. So having a real attempt at very cold conditions there, and it does pull in a northerly wind for a time. It does go very chilly for a few days, but not sustained because that high pressure never fully gets going towards Greenland instead and flattens, and we do see more of a westerly flow returning once again. So GFS having a go there at something much colder towards the middle part of December, but not having too much success in sustaining it beyond a few days. Interesting to see that. Now, to compare to the GEM, again, broadly very similar over the coming days, that northerly flow through Monday, a westerly flow returning through much of next week. And again, towards day 10, we're seeing that ridging further northwards. But again, it's how will this high pressure affect the tropospheric polar vortex towards the middle of the month? We are seeing a bit of a northeasterly flow here. It is a little bit chilly, but we're not expecting anything too major. This high pressure really needs to get going further northwards if we were going to see anything of note. Now, to compare to the ECMWF, again, we see that potent northerly flow coming in early next week. Eventually, a westerly wind develops next week, and then into the longer term, again, seeing this ridging up towards the Arctic, trying to push in northerly or easterly winds, but once again, a real battle against the tropospheric polar vortex. And again, it looks like the operational runs today are definitely showing that tropospheric polar vortex sort of withstanding the high pressure attack a lot better than they had done in the last couple of days. Now, I'm not, saying this with overwhelming confidence because the ensembles are still pretty cold. So it just shows that the operational runs today are not showing much sustainability with that higher pressure block, whereas the ensembles look like they are more likely. So we'll have to see what happens towards the middle of the month. Definitely strong signs of a high pressure trying to get going again, but still massive uncertainty. Now, to finish with those ensembles, these are the latest GFS if we just get them up. You can see again, pretty mild over the next couple of days, very cold for a short period of time, earlier next week and very cold further north. And so if we look at Glasgow, for example, dropping away much colder down towards sort of -8 or lower, potentially dropping away very suddenly, but not lasting all too long. Then goes above average for a couple of days late next week. And then you see quite a strong signal for average to well below average there as we head towards the middle of the month. So a fairly strong signal for something much colder. Again, GFS is quite up and down, the operational run that is, but a fairly strong signal there for colder than average conditions, considerably colder than average from some of the runs. So again, real interest towards the middle period of the month, very up and down over the coming days. And finally, if we compare it to the ECMWF, again, broadly very similar. Above average over the next couple of days, very cold early next week. It does seem like the ensembles aren't quite picking up on how potent the northerly wind will be. And again, it's most likely due to the resolution. And this is why, sometimes with these ensemble charts, it's not the best to look at the specifics. It's more the trends and the overall sort of patterns compared to normal. Because, of course, the UKV is picking up on a much colder air mass. But as we saw from the UKV earlier, it was very small slither of very cold air moving in for a very short period of time. And sometimes these ensemble members can't quite pick up on it because they do work at 6-hour increments. And, of course, they are low resolution. Might not always pick up on that very cold air moving in. So this is one of these examples where the ensembles are chilly, but nothing remarkable. But we saw from the UKV that it is going to be a pretty harsh northerly wind for a short period of time. So that's why, we are looking at really cold conditions for about 36 hours through Monday and Tuesday. The ensemble members are showing only a few degrees below average just because they can't quite pick up the gravitas of that air mass. Beyond that, though, we're back slightly above average, and then as we head into the middle of the month, again, below average, not quite as far below average as the GFS ensembles were showing, but still similar pattern with chilly conditions and a slight drying trend indicating more blocked pattern developing. So again, we've got some hints as we head into December, but for the sort of short time frame, next 5 to 7 days, we are looking at very changeable conditions. It will be very cold for a couple of days early next week with some harsh overnight frosts. But between that, especially this weekend, it is looking pretty mild with temperatures back into the double digits. So unfortunately, it is going to be a lot of chopping and changing. You might need thick coat, hat and gloves for a couple of days next week. But through this weekend, you might even want to just wear a jumper going out. So yeah, it's going to be very up and down. It's going to be one of those to keep a very close eye on those temperatures, that they will change very quickly in a very short space of time. So make sure you do keep up to date with the videos, and of course we'll have some more longer range videos coming out over the coming days as we do head towards sort of the most intriguing part of the year, I think. As we head into the lead up to Christmas, that is when most people are thinking about snow and all of that sort of stuff. And of course, we'll keep you up to date with what is happening as we head through December. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.